Timestamp November 21st, 2025, about 8:30 a.m. I got up maybe 30 minutes ago. Punch the bar with my hand because that always feels good. Mostly got my breathing under control. Woke up again with the almost shallow panic attack thing going on. Blazing headache. Took a couple Tylenol, which of course is bad news if I have children because now they're guaranteed to be autistic. I see at sick. I can't take Tylenol without thinking about how much of an idiot he is. We elected Biff Tannen after the horse races. Trying to get my head in the game. My list. It's Friday. I'm going to be doing some eBay prep for sure. I got so much to list. Which is a good problem to have, you know. It's time consuming though. A lot of maintenance and working on that garage. Got a plan, you know. But just working through the debris that's out there. It's really dramatic and spectacular. In going through my Looney Tunes mugs, one of the things that I realized is that I didn't have any Scooby-Doo mugs. And as big a fan as I am of that as well, it's just like this shall not do. I looked at eBay. They're there. And I won't pay, I cringe when I pay $15, like total, like with shipping and everything for a mug. I just don't like to do it. I've done it on a couple of Looney Tunes ones that were like, you know, perfect, like made by the Archangels, kind of perfect. But I don't like to do it. I'm frugal enough to where that hurts me. So I looked at Amazon, and I actually found a couple of vendors. Silver Buffalo being one of them. They had some like Scooby-Doo mugs for like 10 and 12 free shipping because I do Prime. Don't hate with the amount of stuff that I order. That another devil that I kind of have to shake hands with, or I'll wind up eating it. But yeah, so I got 4 Scooby-Doo mugs, basically one for each of us, kind of thing. Because I realized that needed to be something to take place. And I basically let everybody pick, because all 4 were winners. So this is the one that wasn't picked, which became mine, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Oh. Finishing off the last dregs from some Harry and David milk chocolate peanut butter. I have a fresh pot of milk chocolate caramel. Just finished percolating. Maybe it's normal. It probably is. I'm still digesting my last meeting with my dad, you know. And I was ready for it. I've heard it said there are some things you can be ready for that you're actually never ready for. You know. It sucked. But still good the morning after. Been pulling books and magazines off the wood shelf in the garage, boxing them up, getting them in the workshop because they're just not doing us any good where they are, and we can use the storage space internally. The two magazine types that I'm pulling off are travel magazines. My dad was getting Nat Geo Traveler and Adventurer, I think it is, or Adventure. Alaska magazine, a couple other things like that. Stacks and stacks. Hundreds of issues, maybe even 1,000 or two. And my mom was getting cooking magazines. Cooking Light, Gourmet. Those are two of the main titles I'm seeing. I'm seeing some of the like Better Homes and Gardens, like cooking centric magazines and whatnot. It's annoying, you know. And I do feel bad for them because these are obviously things that they loved and enjoyed and all that, but didn't do or couldn't do, you know. I feel like my mom was getting cooking magazines, you know, the way, you know, young guys get porn. I think Tiny's starting to do some kind of work in my dad's office because Scrappy just came out here. Oh, bud. So we don't have carpet at George Station. We did at one point. We pulled it all and tiled because animals, little kids, carpet doesn't always work out well, you know. So with the door to my dad's office being open, because, you know, work was being done in there, and there's floor that's been discovered that we didn't know existed. This guy was enjoying the fact that I can lay down on this fuzzy floor. What is this thing? He's living large. He's going back in. Yeah, I was starting to get my head in the game and wake up, and I realized that Scrappy wasn't underfoot, which is very strange. And this is that TMI thing. I needed to pee. So I went to the bathroom in the hallway, the guest bath that's there, and the doors kind of like face each other, you know. So walking into the bathroom, and I see Scrappy just sprawled out, lounging on the newly discovered carpet. Okay, I get it. This is the best, man. He just kind of looked up at me like, "Am I in trouble?" It's like, no, you're good. You're good. Enjoy it. But yeah, I look at the magazines and it's like, she hasn't my mom hadn't cooked in 20 years. And even then, honestly, growing up, the food was good, but she wasn't a new new recipe a week kind of lady, you know. She had 20 or 30 tried and trues, including liver and onions, which I have had many a lady folk over the years that are like, oh, well, it just wasn't done right. Oh my God. Deliver me. She'd make liver and onions like once every 3 or 6 months. Oh. Oh. Nasty. But again, I've had probably a half dozen lady folk over the years that are like, and admittedly, some of them were ones that I was dating. They were like, honey, I'll make you liver and onions and you'll like it. It'll be, you won't even believe that the other thing was called that. I only had to actually attempt the challenge and still not so much. So, actually, my girl has said that's something Kelly, I think, she never has actually tried to. She did say that the challenge was accepted, but I don't think she's ever gone for it. Yeah, I don't think so. No. No, I have yet to have liver and onions that didn't make me want to retch. And I had to eat it before I could leave the table. It was like punishment. What did I do? I'm an honor student. Come on. But yeah, no, she had, and I make a good meatloaf. And honestly, my meatloaf is better than my mom's, I think. But it's more to my taste than it would be to hers. But I do get nostalgic for my mom's meatloaf every now and then. Even before, she passed. And it's funny, anytime we go to some place like, Golden Corral or some kind of buffet kind of thing, over the years, I'll always, take a piece of the meatloaf just to see. I've had a couple that were good, but no. No. Not mom's, Weird, right? And I remember one time she said it was like a very basic recipe. She said it was one of the, it was like a Betty Crocker or a Better Homes and Gardens recipe or something like that. I gotta track it down and see if I can actually make it. Just haven't got around to it. Mine's really good though. I typically do mine with bacon mixed in it too, and I usually do, because I know a lot of people do like ketchup, whatnot, and my mom did ketchup in the recipe. I usually do like a hickory barbecue sauce, so it becomes like a barbecued meatloaf kind of thing going on. But I'm a sucker for a good barbecue, and it just, I don't know, it works. You'd have to try it. Maybe one day I'll post the recipe or whatever. But yeah, stacks and stacks, possibly 1,000, 2,000 magazines of, I think one of the magazines is actually just called Cooking. One of them is called Cooking Light. One of them is Gourmet. I know because I've seen cover after cover. And a lot of Better Homes and Gardens, again, cooking-centric magazines. And I feel like both of them, because my dad could never And I keep finding myself talking about my dad in the past tense. He's not gone yet, but at the same time, he's gone. You know, I'm in a weird place in my headspace. My kids have been here for a while, but I think Monday is when it put me there too. But all these magazines are like porn for them. You know, my dad can never put down the projects and walk away from all the stuff that he felt that he had to get done enough to actually travel. He did travel a bit when he was younger, like with the army and some other things, but not to the extent that I think they wanted to. And my mom didn't really have the ambition to necessarily cook in the kitchen per se. Because I mean, some women, some men, you know, really enjoy it. I'm actually one of them. I'm strangely domesticated that way. I love cooking. As long as I have an organized, empty, i.e., not 16 people underfoot kitchen, just let me do. Let me do. Unless I'm working with someone. Because Pix and I have actually tag teamed some like family meals before, and we kind of rock as a team. But no, she hasn't cooked in 20, 30 years. Just getting these magazines every month, every week, by the look of it. Showing you all the stuff that you can't have, won't have. I don't want to have that kind of regret. I'm 54, so still at least a few things that I'd like to do. Checked off a lot of boxes, but and I'm definitely tied for a minute. Oh my God, you guys left me a mess. Alright, so watching the Roku Doctor Who, which has been an absolute blessing. I was actually watching some First Doctor yesterday while I'm working, you know. Last evening I went to bed and Black Orchid, which is a rather odd Peter Davison episode, was on. And I woke up to John Pertwee, Planet of the Spiders, which Tiny's probably least favorite episode ever, if it came on. Doesn't like spiders. Doesn't like spiders. They're running commercials because there's, you know, a channel for everything. It's almost Rule 34, but not, you know, like that. And I think it was Fear Factor running commercials for, I guess, is like a Fear Factor channel or something. And I was thinking about it, the idea of competing in, you know, event after event of terrifying or disgusting things to get to a grand prize, and it's like, I don't need to be on your show. I'm living it right now, actually. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I had a bunch of spiders crawl across my arm last night. I pulled a stack of magazines off the shelf. I'm having to, like, scooch in between some things to get to the shelves. And this one would have screamed, and I know it. Because I could feel it, and I looked, and I saw him, and I'm like, oh, hi. Yeah, I'm not phobic, but I don't necessarily want, you know, 3 or 4 of you crawling around on my arm either. I mean, I dealt with it, but I just know someone else that would have shrieked and injured themselves trying to run away. I love my kid, I love my wife, but and they both have a fight mode, but they also have a flight mode, and the flight mode gets spastic. I've had to patch them both up more than once because flight mode, meant they ran into furniture at high speed or something. Like, guys, take a breath. I'm going to refill my coffee. No, no, no. My DAC is a little concerned as to what my daily habit is right now, One of the things I found on the shelf out there is these. Oh yeah, and that's a note my dad wrote on the freezer in Sharpie. I know the camera turns around. He wrote this because of all the people that were living here and taking his stuff. This food is not free. I own the building. You buy your own food. Because he couldn't figure out who these people were and why they were in his house. Yeah. Little reminders here and there of the madness that was taking hold. He'd leave notes on the dining room table too, asking people to return things that they had stolen. And if you know the backstory, there was no one else here. It was him misplacing it and or seeing people that aren't here. It sucks, man. Watching his brain break. Brilliant engineer. Brilliant. Broken. But yeah, I don't know what these are called. Are these called like clerk lamps? I don't even know what they're called. I keep having like old school banking and or like Gringotts flashbacks. There's like 3 or 4 more there and another 2 or 3 in another room. So there's probably like 10 of them total. I actually like them. I love the style. I love the old school style on them. I may keep 1 or 2, but I'm not keeping, 12. But this one over here, if you can see that, that's an auction sticker. So I have no doubt my mom picked these up at auction with the intent of reselling. My mom liked buying lamps. Oh, I ran into something. How unexpected. So, and again, that's what I got going on. Trying to clear those shelves so that I can actually utilize them. But yeah, there's a bunch of vases up top. Some nice glass, some milk glass with like faux flowers in them. I think my mom put the faux flowers in them to help sell the idea of what they are at like garage sales. A couple pieces I like because I like centerpiece stuff like that. Because again, I'm domesticated. And I made a weird promise to my mom when she was in the hospital. It was a long conversation, but the main takeaway was I was going to make sure that there were always flowers. So, there's always going to be flowers. And I don't know if that's a bad thing, you know? I've got a couple of neat vases or vases here and there. Yeah, like this one here. I actually still have this on the bar. I know she was going to sell it, but it's kind of a nice translucent purple, almost a lavender. I like it. There's a few more like that. There's a green one right next to it. A little bit thicker, wider. Some of the more generic plain ones, not as much maybe. And I'm not going to keep all 300 of them. There's a lot here. My mom liked glassware and plates and things like that. It's your God. But I keep a half dozen or a dozen of them. And I've got some real basic ones I picked up at the Dollar Tree. That glass and or plastic. But I can change it up, you know, week to week, month to month. And I picked up a lot of, it's going to sound weird, such a mama's boy, right? After Promise Was Made, which, again, I don't think it's that crazy an ask, you know. It's almost advice as much as it is a promise. The idea of keeping place look, no matter where you are, keeping it pleasing, pretty, something stimulating the eye. I was picking up, working at the Dollar Tree, I was picking up some of the different faux flowers seasonally that I thought looked nice. So I'm going to try and swap out seasonally. You know, like summer is a great time to have sunflowers out. And I think even spring, I think late spring they start coming in. But try and actually match up season with flowers that are out. And I found some pretty good, don't ask me this second because I don't have my list in front of me. Yeah, I made a list. I'm not a big poinsettia fan, so, but there are some other options for winter season. I don't know if it's everywhere, but down here, poinsettia is just, Publix especially, but every grocery store, Walmart, big box retailers, it's just rows and rows of poinsettia stuff, and it's just too much. There are other good winter alternatives. This is my personal rant on that. Not a big fan of the flower, just it's like overdone. Feeling a little overwhelmed. The best cure for that is the Bilbo approach of one foot in front of the other, you know. Jane is very loudly grooming over here. I'm not putting that on camera. No one needs to see that. But yeah, I feel a little overwhelmed here and there just because doing my one brick, sometimes 2 and even 3 bricks a day. But damn, it's a big mountain. It's a big mountain. You know? Big mountain. I found some more paperwork stuff, which I'm going to let Pix go through. She's the paperwork queen. I have a feeling a lot of it's redundant, 30-year-old paperwork. You know, I found their tax returns from the 80s and 90s as an example. You do need to keep your tax return stuff for, I think it used to be 7 years, and I think they chopped it down to like 3. You need to keep the files just in case the IRS says, hey, last year, you know. But yeah, I found their tax returns from the 80s and 90s. That's good. It's 2025. I mean, if you're that serious about that, I guess you could like scan the base 1040 because that's going to have most of the critical information on it. You could scan it and keep like a digital file. You know, if you really, really, really want to be able to backtrack stuff, you're never going to need it. You're never going to need it. You won't. You won't. You don't need your tax return from 1987. You don't. They may not even, the IRS may not even have the information anymore. Enough to where they'd have a question about it. Plus, even if you did something wrong, there's probably a statute of limitations thing here to where I don't know that they could, 40 years later go, you owe us. I don't know that they can do that. Not that my parents did anything shady, but here I am asking why my mom would keep the paperwork, knowing how much paperwork she's kept. I found like 6 binders, like the 3-inch binders, full of printed out emails from like 2004 to 2009, like stock advisory, not tax advisory, but stock investment advisory stuff. It's buried back there. Number one, you don't need it. Number two, if you needed it, you'd never find it. You'd never find it. Why are you holding on to it if it's not going to be of use to you? I just don't. I can't. Pam, I can't even. I'm going to drink some more coffee. I think I'm going to make some yogurt. I think I'm going to do some Greek yogurt. I got some strawberries. And I have some blackberries in there in the freezer. They both sound good. Maybe I'll do a little bit of each. Yeah. From an acquisition standpoint, I got my Skittles Dialects yesterday, before I showed you that. I'm wishing I had ordered more of the white Dialects now, because I looked it up online. I've got 5 white Dialects, and it's like, man, maybe 1 or 2 more. They're going for like 40 and 60 bucks. This guy was selling them for 15. He sold out now, and I know why. I wish I had ordered another couple from the guy, because I think he had 10 and like 7 were available when I ordered the 3. So I could have ordered, like 7. A little bit of remorse on that one. A little bit. But I got 5. That's a pretty decent, like diorama to work with. Oh yeah. Yeah, I found these photographs too. This is when my mom was going to school for nuclear medicine. She went back at the young age of like 50. to get a degree that she could make. Okay, so she was looking at the Social Security stuff between her and Dad, and because she had worked part-time here and there, and or she had been like a secretary and whatnot, and because here in the U.S. we don't necessarily pay a living wage to people even if they're working full-time, if it's not, a job that we feel that should get a living wage. Her monthly benefits were going to be significantly lower than my dad's, and they still were, honestly, because she already did what she did, so she went back to school for nuclear medicine, and I'm actually proud of her on that. So it's my mom in the dark blue, grinning like a fool. But yeah, and I found some of her classroom notes from when she went to school, which you don't need to keep that really either. You're retired. If you were still doing it and you wanted to keep it on hand to consult in case you had a question about a patient, totally get it. Totally get it. Once you're done, and you've been done for 20 years, come on. It was in a notebook out there where it could do no good for anyone. But yeah, no, she went back to school and did that for like 10 years. Try and get her salary amount up so that she'd get a better Social Security closeout. Ballsy. Ballsy to go back to school at the age of 50, to get a degree. I got respect for that. So, anywho, still not AI. Health check, you know where I am on that. Package wise, I ordered a G.I. Joe. I normally don't do G.I. Joe. Mobile bunker. I'm wondering if I can use it for like playsetty stuff for like my 3 3/4, 4-inch figures. I paid like $20 total for it. It looked like it had a lot of gear with it, so I'm kind of curious what that's going to be like. That's coming in today, hypothetically. And some Monster High stuff. I got my other large Tweety mug yesterday, and it came in broken, so they packed it stupid. I didn't say anything in my, hey, it arrived broken note, but they packed it stupid. I know I broke. You gotta be real careful. They were using a really light confetti as a packing material. Nope, too much give. But, so I was sad about that. And they refunded and all that, but it's just like trying to get those big, the large face ones. I've shown you, the Bugs, the Tweety, Sylvester, and Taz. Trying to get 2 of each. And I have had like 4 different ones arrive broken. I got my 2 Bugs, so I mean that's the important part, but it's like, guys, come on. Yes, it is a fragile item, but yes, they can be sent without May. You just gotta pack them right. So I think I've got my 2 Bugs and my 2 Sylvester now. I'm still waiting for someone to ship my second Taz, which I ordered a week and a half ago. I sent him a note this morning. I'm nice about it. And I said, hello, is there a tracking number? Because it looks like he hasn't even initiated the shipping of it after a week and a half. I can be a little slow in my shipping. I'll take the whole 3 days. I don't take 10. Even if my world's on fire, I don't take 10 days. I have had situations where I was getting into the fourth day and I could see that things were going horribly wrong. We couldn't find the item, or my mom was in the hospital and things were just on fire. And in those moments, I usually sent the person an email and canceled the order and said, hey, look, this is my world right now. I am so sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not going to be able to get this out to you. You know, I don't wait 10 days with no contact. You know, come on. And I am very, very about professionalism, and at the same time, I'm very much about casual professionalism. I agree with making sure that the customer is happy and the customer is informed and whatnot, but I'm also not an English butler when it comes to that kind of stuff. Everybody out there is real people. And as far as I know, I haven't serviced any royalty, nor do they necessarily deserve extra treatment. You know what I mean? I'm just going to treat you like everyday folk, which means I'm going to treat you with respect and dignity, but I'm also not going to try and schmooze you. We're just regular people doing a business transaction. It's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. I want you to feel special. I want you to feel like you got a good thing at a good price, but beyond that, you know, what do you want? I gave you something, you gave me money, and we're done here. I hope you're happy, I'm happy, you know. Ta-da! But yeah, I got a couple Monster High things coming in from a girl, too. Some things she knows about, and some things she doesn't. I'm trying to get ready for Christmas / Shiny Day, so... Yeah. Alright. I have yapped enough. Make it a great day.